ground, there's no gray, and it fosters an attitude of scorn, distrust, and hatred. Now, hate gets a relatively simple definition of intense passion or intense or passionate dislike in most dictionaries. I would add to that hate tends to be active, aggressive, and conscious. I mean, I can say that I hate coffee. I refuse it at every turn. I have never found its taste to be anything that appeals to me. And Kathy will tell you I occasionally make retching noises when she tries to urge me to, move to a grown-up beverage instead of just a normal soft drink. But really, I just dislike coffee. I don't spend my time brooding over it. I don't see it as a source of all mankind's ills. I don't refuse to enter establishments that serve it, labeling it as evil and marching the streets proclaiming said evils to the world. I don't belong to any anti-coffee websites or chat groups where we sit around until the wee hours of the morning, reinforcing each other in our disgust over what coffee is, and making jokes about how we could violently rid the world of coffee. Jokes that someone, somewhere, takes seriously. But there are people who do this. Not about coffee as far as I know, but about things like politics, or religion, or sexuality, or gender, or race, or color, or language, or any of 100 or 1,000 other things. Analysts and scientists call these kinds of chat groups echo chambers. Because the noise you put out, you get back, and you get it back tenfold, reinforcing what you believe, and anyone who disagrees with the tone of that conversation in that chat room gets pushed out. And if the site administrator gets a complaint and shuts the group down, they'll just find another spot to talk about this, and they'll actually reinforce themselves again by saying that the admins were afraid of them and saw them as a threat. And this can make them feel bolder because suddenly they've got power. They've made someone afraid, yeah. And they've made someone afraid thanks to their own fear. And I'm not above quoting Yoda in a sermon. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. We are in a world that has a lot of hate in it. And the hate comes out of anger. And the anger comes out of fear. And friends, we are living in a world that has a lot of fear in it. A study came out the other day. It said that one alcoholic beverage a day will shorten your life. This goes beside the study that says that one diet soft drink a day will shorten your life. That chocolate will shorten your life. That salt will shorten your life. Oh, and by the way, this goes beside the study that says that while red meat apparently kick-started the growth of our brains into what they are today, years and years and years and years ago, eating red meat today will shorten your life. Read enough studies, and you will be told again and again and again that the water will kill you, your food will kill you, the air will kill you. Partly because the animals are eating and we are all breathing particles of plastic that up to 100 years ago were still in the ground. There's nothing you can really do about it, but you know about it now. For whatever that's worth. Come at it from another angle. 3 years ago, Kathy and I went to Nicaragua, you may remember. And as we were packing for our flight out, I decided to turn on the Discovery Channel for some, background noise. And what was Discovery Channel doing but having a 36-hour marathon of Mayday, which is all about plane crashes and how the planes broke and how they hit the ground and everybody died. This is my background noise for getting on a plane flying to Central America. Somebody tried sneaking a bomb on board in a shoe. Now we take our shoes off before we get on the plane. Somebody tried sneaking it in their underwear. Now we go through body scanners before we get on the plane. An NFL player last month was traveling somewhere with a companion, and the girl at the check-in counter asked him, "Do you have any firearms or explosives in your carry-on bag?" And he turned to his companion and he said, "You've got it in your bag, right?" The court case is still pending. I believe he appears in the middle of next month. But we are afraid. Now, a little more seriously. White Europeans are afraid of non-white non-Europeans displacing them from segments of society where traditionally there's been no competition. In Canada, we have the added bonus of the natives saying more forcefully all the time, "Excuse me, we were here first." For the last century or so, since Emily Murphy and her friends won the right to be legally recognized as persons under the law, which included the right to protest living conditions and to lay charges against husbands or partners who abused them, there have been men who have viewed the fact that a woman can say no to them, or choose someone else instead of them, or be chosen over them for a position in a company or a position in society. They view that as a mortal offense. They are afraid of losing power. Power which in truth they no longer have. So as you see, we've got so many seeds of fear sown among us. Fear of the other, fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of the one fragment that people see or which gets broadcast around the world, and which we then apply to everyone who has that characteristic. And we are reaping that harvest. And the thing is, fear is generally self-centered. Fear doesn't say that God has a plan, that He's fully capable of executing that plan without us. Fear doesn't say that God is in control. Fear doesn't say that no matter how badly things are messed up around us, that God can use it for good if we'll give it to Him. Fear isn't submission to the will of God. It's the attempt and desire to impose our will on the world around us. Fear isn't the acceptance of whatever God gives us. It's the desire not to lose what we already have. Fear is what keeps us in the boat when Christ calls us out onto the waves, because we have a perfectly good boat.